The first day without sugar doesn't look dramatic, but the body already knows something important is missing. There is no alarm inside you, just a quiet recalculation happening under the surface. This is why most people underestimate what quitting sugar actually triggers. Inside the body, blood sugar drops first, and insulin follows without hesitation. Organs that depended on constant sugar signals suddenly receive a different instruction. The change is immediate, but comfort always arrives later. By mid-morning, a dull headache appears without warning. It feels unnecessary, almost unfair, especially when you are not hungry at all. This confusion is where many people quit. What you feel is not hunger, but dopamine falling faster than your brain expected. The brain learned to anticipate sugar, and now that anticipation has nowhere to land. Silence in this system feels uncomfortable, even when the body is stable. Restlessness appears without direction, pushing you to seek something, anything. Food seems unnecessary, yet the urge remains persistent. This is hedonic hunger, not nutritional need. As dopamine drops, receptors dulled by years of sugar begin waking up. This reawakening feels like loss before it feels like clarity. The stronger the craving, the deeper this reset is underway. By the second day, the mirror looks almost the same, but something feels lighter. The change is subtle enough to doubt, but consistent enough to notice. This is where appearance begins responding before metabolism does. Insulin falling gives the kidneys permission they haven't had in years. Sodium leaves, and water follows without resistance. Swelling disappears, not as fat loss, but as stored fluid finally exits. By day 4, the face looks sharper in the morning. The scale moves quickly, but the body knows this is temporary. What leaves first is pressure, not fat. As water exits, minerals leave too, and balance becomes fragile. Dizziness and fatigue are signals of imbalance, not failure. Just as this discomfort peaks, the body prepares its next adaptation. By day 5 or 6, the early relief fades and energy becomes unpredictable. Tasks feel heavier, even when nothing physically changed. This dip often surprises people who expected steady improvement. Internally, glycogen stores are nearly empty. The body no longer has quick sugar available for easy energy. This shortage forces a decision the body avoided for years. Around this time, concentration slips without clear reason. Thoughts feel foggy, not chaotic, just slightly distant. This mental haze is where doubt quietly grows. The liver steps in, producing glucose through a slower, controlled process. This glucose is rationed for cells that cannot function without it. Efficiency replaces convenience, and the transition feels uncomfortable. By day 7 or 8, energy drops come in waves rather than crashes. Rest feels necessary, not indulgent. Pushing through no longer works the same way. Fatty acid breakdown enzymes increase their activity quietly. Fatty acids become the dominant fuel for muscles. This fuel burns slower, but lasts longer. Hunger feels different now. Quieter and less urgent. Meals satisfy longer, even when they are smaller. This shift often goes unnoticed at first. Meanwhile, the brain begins experimenting with ketones for fuel. Ketones burn cleaner, but neurons need time to adjust. The fog you feel is simply this adjustment unfolding. By day 8 or 9, moments of clarity begin breaking through. They don't last long yet, but they arrive without effort. This is the first sign the transition is working. Inflammation quietly decreases as sugar-driven signals fade. Energy once spent managing spikes is reassigned to repair. As this repair deepens, a more visible change prepares to surface. Around day 10, the fog lifts quietly, without announcement. The face looks slightly brighter, even before sleep improves. This change feels subtle, but consistent enough to trust. Inside the body, inflammation signals begin to fall. Without constant sugar spikes, immune responses finally stand down. Repair becomes possible when defense is no longer required. Joints feel less stiff, especially in the morning. Movement no longer carries the same resistance. This ease often arrives before people notice why. Sugar once bound to proteins, stiffening tissues over time. As glycation slows, collagen regains flexibility. Aging pressure eases not from products, but from chemistry. Redness softens, and skin tone evens out. Breakouts lose their urgency, healing faster than before. These are not cosmetic changes, but systemic ones. With less inflammation, mitochondria face less oxidative stress. Energy production becomes cleaner and more efficient. This efficiency shows up as calm stamina, not excitement. By day 11 or 12, energy feels steadier across the day. There are fewer peaks, but also fewer crashes. This stability often goes unnoticed until it's gone. Insulin remains low, reducing inflammatory pressure on blood vessels. Blood moves with less resistance and less irritation. This quiet shift supports every tissue it reaches. Mood feels more grounded, less reactive. Emotional swings lose their edge. This calm is not numbness, but regulation. The nervous system stabilizes as inflammation and glucose spikes fade. Resources once spent on damage control return to maintenance. With this stability, appetite and perception prepare for their final reset. By day 13, something unexpected changes first. Sweetness feels stronger, even though nothing added sugar back. This is not imagination. Taste buds renew roughly every 10 days. Without constant sugar exposure, sensitivity returns. The baseline for sweetness quietly resets. Foods that once felt plain now feel complete. Meals end naturally, without effort or rules. This is how fullness was meant to feel. With insulin low, the brain hears leptin clearly again. Satiety signals arrive before overeating begins. Hunger becomes informational, not emotional. Snacking loses its urgency. Eating becomes a response, not a reflex. Control appears without effort. Brain chemistry shifts toward resilience and learning. Neural connections stabilize without sugar-driven spikes. Emotional eating loses its familiar grip. By day 14, cravings feel distant, almost unfamiliar. Sugar no longer promises comfort it cannot deliver. Preference replaces resistance. Metabolic signals settle into a new baseline. The body no longer requests constant stimulation. Regulation replaces negotiation. 14 days without sugar is not an achievement. It is a mirror showing how your body behaves without distortion. What you do next matters more than what you proved. For some, clarity removes the desire to return. For others, moderation becomes possible for the first time. Either way, the body reveals itself as wiser and more adaptable than expected.